Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're just going to take a couple minutes to let everybody log in. What we're going to talk about today, we get the privilege to be able to talk to you about the 5 SEO tips that you can implement for your practice today. Again, just waiting a moment to let everybody log in. Thank you guys so much for joining. A little housekeeping as we're all logging in here. You're going to see a little chat box or bubble. It looks like one of those little thought bubbles. If you have any questions as we're going through this, please feel free to click on that chat bubble and we'll make sure that we answer any questions. We'll have a question and answering at the end of our presentation today. So make sure that you ask any questions as we go along and we'll get those answered for everybody. Again, just one more minute as everybody's logging in, and then we're going to kick off 5 SEO tips that you can implement today for the practice. Okay, so like I said, super excited to be able to talk about those 5 tips that we can implement for our practice today with SEO. My name is Kristin. I am a certified optician. I have been able to work in the optical industry since 1999. My goal in all of the different areas that I've been able to work in, I've been able to work in small mom and pop shops, larger multiple chain practices, but always my goal is to help practices grow, which brought me into marketing. And being able to really help practices grow, SEO is one of the most important things. My co-host here, Sara, she is an SEO expert. She is one of the people I go to all the time whenever I have questions about SEO and how to grow your practice. When we actually speak about SEO, SEO is kind of an interesting thing when it comes to content. For Sara, her background has been in content, marketing and PR, but SEO content is different than any other content that you write. And what is SEO? SEO is search engine optimization. When we think about SEO in a nutshell, it's actually the process that it's the process that improves your website and the ranking and the traffic on your website. I'm going to pass it on to Sara, and she's going to start with those 5 tips to help grow the practice.
Yeah, so let's see here. Okay. Yeah, today we're going to go over just a couple tips here about search engine optimization and like the best practices that we use at Marketing for ECPs, and some tips that you can implement with your practice today. So the main things that we usually have for like when we do SEO or to have good SEO is these tips I have right here. Having a secure website that has a lot of quality content, creating unique content on the website and using relevant keywords in that content, keeping an eye on your website and always optimizing it, just not once, like when you make the website, but also optimizing like every so many months, check in, update it if there's anything you changed. And talking about sharing content and reviews and different items like that.
So when we talk about SEO, what really can SEO do for your practice? For me, I really like to bring it home. I just moved to the area that I live in now. I moved here about 1.5 years ago, and my 5-year-old, he's due for an eye exam. And so for me, I don't have that core network friend group or people to get to know to ask, hey, where do you take your kids for an eye exam? So who do I ask? I go to Google. When I'm looking for that eye doctor for my 5-year-old, the things that I look for, the things that I'm Googling is, what type of eye doctor should my 5-year-old see? An eye exam for a 5-year-old, pediatric eye doctors, eye exams for kids. When I search that in my area, your SEO is really what's going to make it so that to find the practice near me or to find the practice in my area that's best for my kiddo to see, that's really where the SEO is going to help the practice.
Yeah, just kind of going off what Kristin said, like SEO can be so helpful for people in your area finding your business. All these things right here I listed are great reasons why you SEO should be implemented, and just things you can do to bring those people that might not know about you, might be new to the area, or maybe they're just looking for a different practice to go to. So using these SEO tactics will really help with that. So SEO can do so many things for many different companies. Oh, can you go back one?
Yep. Oops. There we go.
Yeah, so SEO increases visibility. So this pretty much means like it'll make more people see you, which is the most important thing. And having a dedicated SEO program or SEO strategy behind all of these efforts is more likely to bring you higher in search results, and it'll bring you in front of the people you want to be in front of. And then, like I just said, another tip or another thing you could do for your practice is it'll help rank higher in those search results. So when you go to Google, most people don't go past the first page or those first 10 results. So you want to rank in like spot 1 or spot 2 for eye doctor in your area, and having SEO and doing the tactics behind it will make you rank in those spots. And another thing I love about SEO personally is that it doesn't feel like that aggressive advertising. Like, it's not in your face, it's not an ad that you can't move, or it's not like the ad above the organic results that you accidentally click. It's just, like I said, organic, so it's not paid, it's there naturally. And yeah, it can, sorry, yeah, it's a great way to help your practice out.
Yeah, I like that. And that a great fact about that as well is 93% of our patients don't go past that first page when they're searching for their answers online. So when they're looking for eye doctor, or for me, best eye doctor for my 5-year-old, 93% of the time people are not moving past that first page.
Right, exactly. So on top of like all the SEO tactics, another part of that is having a website like as your base pretty much, and having a good website, a quality website that's structured well and optimized. Like, I'm sure a lot of people have noticed this. If you go to a slow loading website, like, you just want to leave right away, and that definitely does have an impact. I saw a statistic recently, and it was like if people have to wait more than like 3 or 4 seconds, like more than half of those people will leave right away. So you definitely want to make sure it loads fast and it's optimized for people. And over 60% of those searches happen on mobile devices like smartphones. So you want to make sure your website is also friendly for cell phones and desktop and computers. So yeah, there's a couple of different things you can do to optimize your website and make sure it has a good user experience. Some tips I would suggest would be making sure that each service that you provide has its own page. Like, don't lump all the services on one page. It's good to have like adult eye exams, senior eye exams, diabetic eye exams, and then your specialty services like dry eye therapy or myopia control on separate pages, because it helps Google search those pages better, having them that way, and it makes it easier for customers and patients to navigate. And like I said, having a slow loading website is obviously very bad. So a way to kind of speed up your website, there's lots of things you can do, but an easy step I like to take is taking those larger images that are really pretty, really beautiful, and compressing them, which you can do online easily. It just helps cut down the file size so the website is like more apt to load faster. And
Those are great tips. I like that one.
yeah, no, that's a great one as well. And the last thing I have for website stuff is just make sure your content is easily digestible. And this is important because a lot of people don't want to read like a big paragraph. They just want to read short little bits of information, and they kind of want to get what their end goal is, which would be like make an appointment or to help an issue they're having.
I like that. And you're absolutely right. Speed on the website is an extremely important thing. It's part of the UX experience, the user experience that Google helps even to rank you. So when we do talk about speed, Sara used that 3-second rule when it comes to load time with a website. And that's actually Google's cutoff as well. If your website loads more than 3 seconds, then they're going to rank a competitor's website higher than yours if their website loads faster than yours as well. So making sure that the load time of that. So these are fabulous tips on that. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so tip number 2 is talking about Google Business Profile. So Google Business Profile is a great way to reach out to people in your area. Google Business Profile is kind of when you search for something and then you'll see like a business pop up. If you search like eye doctor near me, and it'll be like, they'll pick one eye doctor that, you know, they think ranks the best, that should be in that spot that's closest to you, and will show up in a little blurb. I'll show you what that looks like in a second. And yeah, it's great to expose the business locally. So if you're going to use your own or do your own Google Business Profile, like set it up and kind of start utilizing that for patients in your area, these are some of the tips I would use to get it started. The first thing you pretty much have to do is claim the listing, because Google will list all these businesses, and then you have to go and claim it and say that's your business, and then you can go in and update all the information. When you update it, you want to make sure that all the information is correct and consistent to what you have on the website, and make sure that's, you know, actually correct, like the hours are right, your phone number's right, you have the right URL, the address, all those good things, because a lot of people search for those. And some other tips to reach out to those people near you. For what I do, I like to add like the service areas. So once you go in there, you can add different neighborhoods, different suburbs, different cities that you might also provide your services to. And it's a great way to get all those people in that area, especially if you're like in a big area. It's really helpful. And then the last thing I would suggest would be updating the services. There's a tab in there where you can update all the services that you provide, and doing that will count for those keywords. Like if you use dry eye therapy in your services, and then people near you search dry eye therapy, that could help bring your profile up for them.
Awesome. That makes me think about the circumstance I was just in again. Right. When I'm looking for that pediatric eye doctor for my 5-year-old, I actually did. I started with maps even. I looked at who in my area closest to my geographical location does that. I live in it's not a 1-horse town, it's a 1-practice town. So for me, I have a small local practice that if they did pediatric eye care, I'd love to support them, but it's not on their Google My Business. And so when I Google pediatric eye care or eye exams for kids or anything like that, and this 3-pack, the 3 people who come up on your maps right before your organic search, which is your organic SEO, those keywords. So this Google Business Profile area, this is what comes up first. And when people are looking for their actual location, so for me, when I'm in this little farm town that I live in, you know, what other local optometrists would I be able to take my kiddo to? So going to maps, going to different areas, actually your geographical location really does make an impact. And your Google Business Profile will show up in those cases.
Yeah. And it's really great to use too, because I think it's like when people see that in Google search results, they're more like likely to click like that big box versus like a listing that's down a little farther. So this is a great tool to use for local SEO.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. So number 3, writing blogs to your website. This is another really important step. That really helps build the ranks and kind of build your reputation up in Google for it to figure out where it wants to place you in search results. So blogs will pretty much help your website show up for more searches. And it's a great way to reach out I mean, you're going to reach people who, might not be in your area, but you're also going to reach those people in your area as well. So it's a great way just to get more eyes on your website and then bring potential leads in. And it'll, help you rank in more search results for more keywords and show up more. So that being said, yeah, it's always good to have this content on your website. And just write about topics that are relevant to your patients. So you got to kind of think about maybe like what your patients ask you really often, or what are some things that like you've heard from, normal everyday people, because most people want to hear about like, how can I solve this? How can I help soothe my dry eyes, or what should I expect during laser eye surgery? Questions like that are really great to write content on, because people are usually always curious about these things. And yeah, once you get a good topic in mind, you just have to write on it, share your expertise, the knowledge that and people definitely trust that authority over like a random blog versus like a doctor or eye doctor writing it. And then of course, always continuously add content to your website. I wouldn't suggest doing like a couple of blogs and then never doing it again. I would definitely, suggest keep doing it, because it'll keep helping you show up for new results and keep you in those ranks. And then we usually recommend posting at least one high quality blog per month to kind of keep that content going.
Awesome.
And number 4, share your content on social media. So this is just a simple thing that you can do to get more awareness around your practice and just bring more people to your website and gain more patients. So yeah, the tips I would suggest for this, share it on the social channels that you use. Very helpful. It's good for content. People like to read these things on Facebook or LinkedIn. And you can also repurpose the blogs if you have an email newsletter that you send out every month or whatever. It's really great for that and gets more clicks to your website. And the last thing that you can do for kind of sharing on these social sites, Google Business Profile actually has a section where you can add an update. And it's not, you can only put like 1,500 characters, so it's like a really shortened version. So I kind of call it like the shortened version of the blog. So every time that we post blogs, and we do the Google Business Profile update, we write like a little blurb that's like a shortened form to the blog, and then it links to the blog. So if you can get more clicks through Google as well.
Awesome.
Okay, and last but not least, to help your SEO, I would encourage customer reviews. This doesn't really directly focus on SEO, but it's a great way to get your practice up in ranks and that Google Business Profile to show up first before other practices. And it just makes your business look better as well. Like even like from a PR background, like it just helps that people see that all those reviews, like, and there's more people coming there and people respond and stuff. People love seeing that.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I would encourage if you want to get more reviews, like encourage people at the end of their appointment, or when you do like a reminder text or reminder email, it's great for that. And reviews are just great because they build brand awareness, they build brand trust. If you have good reviews, then people are gonna see that, and a lot of people really take that into account when they choose a practice or a doctor, anything that they want to do. And then if you have more reviews, it helps you search, it helps you rank in those like Google Map results. So your practice is more likely to go above another practice if it has like more reviews. So yeah, and just a tip, if you ever get bad reviews, because it is bound to happen, you get some people that do that. And my suggestion, and what I've seen a lot of businesses do, is just the best practice is to respond with an apology, ask the patient to contact your office to resolve the issue, and take it from there. A lot of people, when they see that like the practice or the business actually like reached out to fix that issue, really they really take that into account versus like the bad review.
I think you're absolutely right. I think the practices that have all good reviews is really great, but I think that a practice that has one bad review and they fixed it, or they were there and available, it makes it just as powerful, because it makes it, I mean, it's real, it's human, and you can go to that practice and know that regardless of what happens, I'm going to be taken care of. So that's really great.
Right, exactly. And yeah, well, with that, those are our 5 tips that you can use today to kind of help out your SEO and your brand and your website. And like we said in our webinar before, or the notes or whatever, we're going to give away this free resource, which is the Ultimate SEO Checklist. And Kristin put the link in the chat, and I believe it'll go with our recording later. So yeah, you can check that out and kind of see like what you can do to start your SEO off and get it right on the right track.
Awesome. That does bring us to our questions and answers. Now, interestingly enough, we did get a few requests and questions. They were geared more personal, meaning directly to your area and demographics. So I got some contact information. I'll be in touch with you guys very soon. One question that I did have somebody ask is, if your website is slow, will building SEO be able, will you be able to improve your SEO? I know Sarah's got probably a perfect answer for that, but one thing I'd love for us to think about is, when we do have a slow website, we have to think about that as a crack in our foundation. When we look at our website as being the foundation of our home, we want to make sure that there's no cracks in our foundation, so that everything we build on top of it, there's nothing falling through. So even though building and having a powerful SEO on a slow website will still help the practice, making sure that we do increase the speed, which is making sure that we have the right technology on the website and it's built with the best resources, that's what's going to improve the load time of your website. So that is definitely a factor that we have to have fixed. Anything else you want to add to that at all, Sarah?
Yeah, I think you covered it pretty well. Okay. Like you said, like you can still like do SEO with a slow loading website. Like you can definitely like start it off and kick it off, but I think there will be like a point where that issue, like the website issue, would become an issue, and you might start to see like less people visit your website due to it. So it's just something to keep an eye on.
Awesome. Well, great. Thank you guys for your time. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us directly. And we will be sending you a copy of this recording along with the ultimate SEO checklist. And yeah, we're here as resources.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone.